Thank you for joining me for Full of Bull episode number 13. So I'm going to switch things up a little bit over the next 6 weeks or so, and I'm going to do a how-to video of how to plan a trip on a budget. And that trip can be local, within your state, international, whatever it is. But the idea is to plan an awesome trip without having to break the bank. And the first step to that I've seen from friends of mine, family, is to understand that it's possible. You can take an amazing trip and spend a fraction of the money that you would imagine, or even spend a fraction of the money that you might spend in town doing other activities that are very similar. There's some real keys to this that I want to outline over the next few weeks and really break this down for you. But the first is really just knowing that it's possible. That get over yourself. Too many people assume I can't afford this, I can't do this, I can't do that. And yeah, maybe you can't afford it right now, but you can plan accordingly, you can save, and there's easy ways to do things and to cut out some costs that you otherwise might not be aware of. And as a fairly seasoned traveler, I feel I want to share some of my experiences. Now, that's to say that recently my trips have been less, budget friendly, but that doesn't mean I don't have experience with that, and that doesn't mean that you can't have 80% of the same trip and just cut out some of the extras and cut costs in different ways and still have an amazing trip. So just remember that first of all, it's possible. So the second part of understanding how to really plan a trip on a budget is to understand that time is on your side. So things, when you have more time, cost less. So air travel is less, booking your hotels is less, booking transportation is typically less. The less time that you have, typically the more expensive things are. But on the flip side, if you also have a lot of time in terms of your flexibility of time, last minute travel can actually be really cost effective. So you want to do one of two things. You want to travel with plenty of time to plan and organize and find the best deals, or if you're flexible and you can just travel at the last minute, and especially if your options of where to travel are flexible and you're willing to just go somewhere in a particular time frame or a particular price, then a lot of times that actually is just as good as planning in advance. So just keep in mind is that time is on your side. So in planning and how to plan on a budget, time is. So if you go into a trip and you have your mind set on a specific destination, and especially at a specific time, then your cost and your cost structure is a little limited. Now, what I prefer to do when we're planning a vacation is really to set the dates of when can we go, what makes sense, when do we need to leave, when do we need to be back, and then look at a bunch of different options of where to go. So if you have on your bucket list of 10 places to visit, you don't have to do it in a specific order. So you can plan and see what is off season, what is on season, what's going to get us more cost effective, and then adjust it accordingly. If you go to a place like Europe, a lot of times you can plan, okay, we're going to be here these days. We're going to get in, we're going to get from the United States or from wherever you're coming into Europe. Let's say it's into London. And then you can plan your trip accordingly from there. And so sometimes once you know where to start and where to end, then planning in between becomes a little bit easier, especially if you're willing to be flexible, and the people in your group or whoever you're traveling with are also willing to be flexible. That flexibility can save you a ton of money, because the same parts of the world, the same time, can be drastically different in prices depending on certain things, events, season, whether they're really trying to push tourism in a specific area. All those things matter. So flexibility on where you end up is a hell of a time saver and a huge money saver. So there's some great sites that really help you pick credit cards, especially when it comes to travel and rewards and benefits like that. And that's not what I'm trying to do here, but it is something to consider in terms of getting the right credit cards. So if you're planning a trip, let's say that, for example, American Airlines is your hometown airline. They're the easiest to travel on, to work with from wherever you're coming from. Some locations it's Delta, let's say it's British Airways. Who knows, what the particular airline is. But a lot of these airlines will have deals where if you have obviously, good enough credit that you can get, huge bonus points. You can get, rewards and, different things. One great thing is that with American Airlines, certain of their credit cards, you can get lounge access. Even if you're not flying first class, you can get access to their first class lounges, which as a traveler is a really nice thing. So if you have long layovers, or you have time where you have to check out at 11 from your place, but then your flight is until 5, and go sit at the lounge for a few hours, really kill some time, it's a great plus. So definitely consider, those credit cards that have those bonuses. And a lot of the times, they're going to come with, higher annual fee. Don't let the higher annual fee scare you away right away. Look at what those bonuses are. Look at what you're going to get out of it, and is it worth it to you? Some of those, especially the airline ones or the hotel ones, have really nice upgrade options. A lot of times you can get a free check bag or multiple free check bags with the people you're traveling with. Sometimes that alone will pay your entire year of your annual fee. So don't consider that just because it has an annual fee, that's necessarily a negative. Look at what those benefits that you're getting from it and see if they outweigh what the annual fee is. And then, make your decision there accordingly. But I would definitely recommend that you look at airline credit cards and hotel credit cards, because obviously when you're traveling, those are two of your biggest expenses. And if you're going to be doing more traveling, you get obviously extra bonuses and stuff by booking with them, and they're using their credit card. So consider that, do your homework, figure out, what makes sense for you. But a credit card can be a great way to get your trip kick-started, especially with some of those sign-on bonuses. Common misconceptions I hear from people who aren't traveling or have a reason why they can't travel is that they don't have the money. And look, that's sometimes true. I've been in that case where I just don't have the money to travel. But most people do, if they rearrange things. So consider how many people, like to go out to eat. How many people like to go buy new clothes? How many people are going to upgrade their car when they probably don't need to? How many people do you know that they like to go to the casino, once in a while, and they'll lose some money just down the drain. Who likes to go out, right? Have some drinks. When you stack up some of those nights, and if you can save a little bit of money on those nights, really, you can put that towards an awesome trip and offset your costs without having to really spend any extra money. So if you sit down and look at some of your personal expenses, and instead of not spending that money on yourself, you can spend that money on yourself and have some amazing experiences versus having just another night, out with your friends. That's one of 100 nights that you've had. Versus getting those friends to travel with you, go somewhere and do something that's memorable that you're going to be talking about for years or decades later, versus what is that one night on an extra Saturday night that you're gonna have some fun, and you're not gonna remember, you're not gonna care about it in 3 weeks, let alone 3 years or 3 decades. So keep in mind is that you really can adjust a lot of your financial expenditures and get yourself traveling and get yourself moving and create those memories that really mean something and they're going to last versus the ones that aren't. When you start planning your trip and you're really thinking about where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and again, time is on your side, download some of the useful apps. Obviously, the Expedias, the other travel booking sites. One that we love is Hopper. So Hopper really focuses on airline costs. So what they'll do is it gives you the flexibility to go and put in your dates. If your dates are flexible, then you can let them know, hey, my dates are flexible. Here's where I want to go. If your destination is flexible, they'll give you awesome alerts about deals that are going on to specific places that you can then hop on and go book. Why it's called a Hopper, obviously. But one of the great things is it tells you kind of, all right, where is this price expected to be? Based on the algorithms and their history of understanding the airlines, it'll tell you a little bit, hey, this is probably going to go down. This is probably your best price. This is probably, everything you're gonna get. So don't wait any longer. Think about something like Hopper and a lot of these other services that are really based on sales and pricing, is that if it's there, you got to get it. Because it's not going to be there in 2 days. It might not be there in 2 hours. They're very limited. So make sure that you're watching it and that get used to it. And then when you're ready, you better be ready to book. So just keep that in mind. There's also other blogs and things that will give you individual cheap flights. If your destination is flexible, you can put where you're starting from. Where you're going to be leaving from, and they can find you some really cheap flights. to cool destinations that they find. Either they're kind of one-off, they're sales that a particular airline is having, whatever the case might be. So sign up for those. Emails are typically free. Some of them want to charge you to actually find out what the trip itself is. It's whether or not you want to pay for those is up to you, but there's plenty of free ones that you can check out and not have to pay anything while you watch and kind of get used to it. So use those resources. Again, time is on your side. Start doing your research. Getting ready for your travel. I would highly recommend that you sign up for, if you're not already, for the frequent flyer programs, for the hotel loyalty programs, because as you go, there's additional perks, bonuses, things like that you can get, free upgrades, on airlines or hotels. Some hotels have, executive lounges, which snacks and food and drinks at no cost, and if you stay and you travel enough, you get access to those. Some of those are available by signing up with their hotel credit cards, that sort of thing. But I highly recommend that because it costs you nothing. They'll notify you when they have sales, when they have deals going on, that kind of thing. And if you do find yourself traveling more, you're going to regret not getting your bonuses from 6 months ago or 12 months ago, because that stuff expires, and all of a sudden, you could have hit the next tier and got the next set of perks. So I highly recommend that. It's super easy. Make sure it matches your ID, your passport, that kind of thing. If you, for example, are married and have changed your name, make sure that those match, and make sure you update it when you need to. My wife waited years to do that and has missed out on a bunch of opportunities. So that's something to think about as well. But highly recommend that you sign up for those. Costs you nothing, and down the line can really save you. I'm sure most of you out there have used Airbnb or VRBO, or at the very least you know what they are. I would highly recommend that you consider those when it comes to traveling. It opens up a lot of opportunities that are in addition to hotels. Some cities are great for hotels. Some cities are really built on that, that sharing of, vacation rentals. And it really just depends on the place, on the city, on the location, how comfortable you are with it, but it's always a good idea to look at it, especially when you're traveling with a group. Those are typically going to be your most cost-effective housing opportunities. Check out Airbnb and VRBO. A lot of them, again, will have rewards for signing up the first time that you sign up, or you can get a referral from someone that if you haven't used it before, and you book and you both get some sort of credit. They're a little bit different opportunities. I find that Airbnb for individual short stays is ideal. VRBO, if you're looking for a longer stay, more amenities, stuff like that. A lot of times VRBO is really about vacation rental, groups, longer stays, that kind of thing. Airbnb, if you're looking for one night, in a city, something like that, it's a great option. But check out both. I know there's others out there that are popping up. I know the Expedia now uses, I think, VRBO or HomeAway, same thing. And you can book right through Expedia, I believe it is. But either way, check those out. Those are excellent alternatives. Thank you for checking out Full of Bull, episode number 13. This wasn't very full of bull of me. I really want to help you guys to plan an awesome vacation, an awesome trip where you can make some memories. So this is going to be a multi-part series, probably about 6 or 7 of our Full of Bulls, related around how to plan a trip on a budget. Now that you have some of the basic information to start with, go get started. Get the process moving. Start talking to your friends, your family, whoever it is that you want to travel with, or you want to travel by yourself. Who gives a shit? Whatever it is, get it going. Download the apps. Start doing your research, because again, time is on your side right now. The longer you wait, the less time is on your side. So start doing your research now. Figure things out, and then further Full of Bulls will give you some great tips for actually planning those and executing them.